Good afternoon. It's the 30th of March 2018 and we're just doing an update on the Indian Pacific wheel race or event as it may be. Not totally sure. Now just having a look, we'll start from the back to the front today. Narelle Darcy, she's through 2,000 kilometres and travelling towards Port Augusta still. She's got a bit of work to do. Looking at the wind map today, it looked like the people going towards Port Augusta would have a sort of a cross tailwind possibly, or a crosswind. The ones travelling down from Port Augusta to Adelaide would have a headwind. The people along the coast road towards Melbourne, Geelong and out of Melbourne would have a tailwind. Pretty much so. That would be very good for them. Now, just going back to the event, it looks like there is 5 people yet to get to Port Augusta. Kerwin Balenko is at Port Augusta, 57-year-old male. So he's having a bit of a break now. That's at the 2,445 kilometre mark. DBR is travelling along at 12.6 kilometres an hour, with into that big headwind at just under 2,500 kilometres from the start. Now, getting closer to Adelaide, there's Dale, more clicking. Bomb Whiskey, that's interesting, isn't it? 17.3 kilometres an hour, yeah, that'd be the win. So, Bomb Whiskey has done 2,765 kilometres from the start. Tess Jetnikov from Melbourne is in Adelaide. J. Little Gruffalo from Falls Creek. Type of bike, a slow one. Fantastic. So, yeah, she's obviously not taking it too seriously, but done very well and has got to Adelaide. Sandro, 53-year-old female from Denmark, has left Adelaide and on the way to Tailem Bend. So that's pretty good. Rupert Guinness, our friend Rupert, fantastic journalist and avid cyclist obviously, has gone through the 3,000 kilometre mark. This is the 3,045 kilometres. It's around about 1:15. I have to do an earlier update today because I've got to go out to a birthday party later. And Annabelle and Ruth have just gone for a walk, so I've got the kitchen to myself just for a moment. So that's why the update's a little bit earlier today. Hayden Bevans heading down towards Mount Gambier. There's a whole group of people, beginning with Naresh from India. He's done 3,340 kilometres. Claire Tops, who's Claire Stevens, 3,370. Lawrence Mead, the boy racer, Shane Beaumont, a heap of other ultra cycling life, heading down towards Portland now. They've probably got a bit of a tailwind. I'll just check what Shane's doing. 26.2, yeah, it's hard to tell. Ultra cycling life, Damien Van Loon. He's doing 18.8, so he might be on a bit of a hill there. So we'll get rid of that one. There's a group of say 4 or 5 riders. Rizza, Joseph Kendrick on the fixie is. Hang on, I just can't get this to work. Yeah, Dolan fixie. So Joseph Kendrick and a heap of other guys, Luke and Rizza, are heading up to Melbourne from Geelong. Powell, another fixie rider, or Paul, is in Melbourne. Brad Bootsma is heading out of Melbourne. Rowan is doing really well, halfway off to Cooma now, or halfway to Bairnsdale, I should say, getting through it. So there's a lot of riders that are sort of doing pretty well through Melbourne now. Now up to the leaders, let's have a bit of a look what's going on here, because we've got Rhino, who's third at the moment. He's done 4,438 kilometres, and he's at 1,560 metres above sea level, so it's been pretty steep. I've been watching the profile. You can run your cursor along the dots at the bottom, and it gives you an idea where they are and what the gradient and thing is. So Rhino's holding off Sully, who's really pressing him now for third. Stefan, the French person, is 4,532 kilometres from the start and is holding off Rhino pretty easily at this stage and heading for Beechworth. So they're up in the pretty high sort of alpine country now. And then way off in the distance is Abdullah. Abdullah's just gone through the 5,090 kilometre mark and is just smashing it out, incredible. Doing 18.8 kilometres an hour at the moment. The Dark Knight has rejoined. The Dark Knight is a fellow who is not doing the actual course. He's doing Hubert Opperman's course, which went sort of a beeline from Adelaide through to Sydney. So he's not doing the long distance through the Alps and along the coast road and all that sort of stuff, so he doesn't really count in the Indian Pacific Wheel Race as such. He's just doing his own event, but he's rejoined the course just out of Sydney. So Abdullah's doing really well. Look, I don't think anything could stop him really at the moment. The guys must be so tired. I mean, they started ages ago. I mean, it's almost 14 days, I think, since they started. 14 days since they started. So this is day 14 they're into at the moment. Incredible effort. It's just ridiculously amazing how they're going. But that's the update for now. So Abdullah's less than 500k from Sydney, the finish. Stefan, Rhino and Sully, they're the top four. So, and the others are just doing a fantastic individual effort. I mean, it's all individual effort, but it's really interesting to see the progress of these riders and the hours that they put on the bike. You know, some people are riding for 20 hours, that sort of thing. It's just incredible. Maybe have little stops in between, but you know, 3 or 4 hours sleep and then up into it for 14 days. It's just absolutely incredible endurance. So there you go. That's the update. Hope it wasn't too long. And I'll be back tomorrow. See you later.